Got my bro live on the beats for y'all, Trill D.
And I will say, absolutely 100%, without reservation, I support the right of self-defense without any doubt. I would be involved myself in violent resistance if I were a citizen of Palestine or Iraq or Afghanistan. And if I were a citizen of the United States or Britain and someone from halfway around the world came into my country and started stealing my land and killing my family, guess what? I would defend my country as well. So, I absolutely 100% defend the right of self-defense, and I will never shy away from that. I will not join the long list of embarrassments who condemn terrorism while forgetting to acknowledge that the biggest terrorist on the planet is the United States government.
Hamas doesn't recognize the right of Israel to exist.
You know what that sounds like to me? That sounds like the African National Congress and Nelson Mandela refusing to accept apartheid and recognize apartheid. I say that Israel, if it wants to be a genuine partner in any kind of peace, needs to destroy its whole ideology of Zionism. Zionism that makes other people goyim, who do not deserve to be in the Holy Land. That's the real problem. If Israel will embrace every people, including Palestinians, equally.
They say, just focus on each step. Sometimes you gotta look up. I'm from the city of Richmond, better learn where you out. Niggas learn to sell crack before they learn how to count. From the era of burners, not burner accounts. That's why I push this legal dope like it's burner account. So what you rapping for? The thoughts or the bots? Niggas be paying both till they get exposed and caught. Resent to extend more, pretending they cool, cause they label be faking streams like an indoor pool. Rappers look at rappers, compare status and followers. Inside they hollow us, so they stunt just to annoy you. Haven't hit your zenith if you need to switch your demeanor. My grass greener, that's cause I come from a different soil. How do I verbalize the green industry plants feeding on fertilizer? That's why I drop seeds for my niggas still stuck in the weeds, so you don't make the same mistake as these current liars. Everything I've ever received I work for. When you hunt your own food, you naturally feel it's worth more. This is not debatable. If I keep feeding you from my own table, then all I do is enable you. Expect some variance. Record executives love the catfish. You niggas is pescatarians. Present digestible songs that you relate to. Money up the streams and use a hook to bait you. Is there a heaven where I'm headed? Will I arrive with something that I've regretted? Trying to find a piece of the peace of mind you credit.
During your speech, you made a lot of references to Jewish people as well as certain people in your audience, not Jewish people in general, but certain people, especially in your audience, to Nazis. Now, that is extremely offensive when certain people are German, and they're also extremely offensive to people who have actually suffered under Nazi rule.
I don't respect that anymore. I really don't. I don't like and I don't respect the crocodile tears to the crocodile tears. No. And so, folks, allow me to.
From a people for 400 years have been terrorized, traumatized, and hated, and we dish out love warriors and freedom fighters every generation, which makes that we stand in solidarity with anybody who's occupied, anybody who's subjugated, anybody who's exploited, and that's why we focus on Gaza at this moment, because a genocidal attack is taking place.
peace of mind, you credit, but the voices on my shoulder never let me forget it. What if it is there heaven where I'm headed? Will I arrive with something that I've regretted? Trying to find a piece of the peace of mind you credit, but the voices on my shoulder never let me forget it. Will the fear make me disappear? I still talk to my mama cause I can feel her near. I'm near my limit, but I'ma see it through. What's the point when there's no one left to reach for you? We have witnessed the genesis of a genocide. A whole generation eliminated and gentrified, denigrated, discriminated, and told to walk with a ginger stride that our government has incentivized. Imagine seeing death through an infant's eyes. Pulled from the rubble, they struggle to find strength to cry. You on the fence or you feeling defensive? Why? If you truly valued human life, then you would be offended by innocent casualties being victimized. I'm not the least surprised our president has legitimized all of this murder, death, and destruction. You campaign on change, it's still the same corruption. You could've signed a ceasefire. You could've denounced the airstrikes on the hospital in the streets prior. We pride ourselves being peace brokers, but there's no coincidence that a region has natural resources. Treated like cattle scramble to reach glory. How come all oppressed people have similar stories? From South Richmond to South African bridge through, it's bleak. Palestinian children deserve to live too. This is not humanity. I don't care if you Buddhist, Jewish, Muslim, or practice Christianity, or any box they trying to fit us in. Stop the death in Palestine, sign a concerned citizen.
Is there heaven?
وقفت طفل
If everyone today thought was so clean, then this whole street would not be flooded with us. So I urge you, brothers and sisters, I look around this whole street today and I see all walks of life from different ethnic backgrounds, and I feel empowered by seeing my brothers and sisters, not just my Muslim sisters, not just my Muslim brothers, but my human brothers and sisters. Everyone that's listening to me today, my name is Isla Abdurrahman, and I have something to say. Will you remember how we felt when we saw what happened to Grenfell Tower? Will you remember how we felt when we saw what happened to George Floyd? Will you remember how we felt when we saw what was happening in Christchurch? We all remember how we felt when we saw what was happening in Sudan.
Palestine will be free. From the river to the sea, free, 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 free. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. From the river to the sea, free, free, free.
How can I start? Can't get the image out of my heart when we've seen the bodies found in a mountain of parts. Netanyahu told you just another child of the dark. Clear it's gonna take much more than thousands to march. More than a speech, more than a poem, more than a track of music. Gonna take more than a sit down with Bassem Youssef. Even bringing back ambassadors isn't atlas useless long as you pump oil through your batteries and the tanks they use it. Freedom just beyond reach for people you cannot see. He's wheezing and cannot breathe and screaming through through the concrete, looking for his 4 children. The bombs leave structures that I wouldn't wanna call buildings. My fingers pointed at this government, you all killed them. Tell me that you wouldn't take up arms if those were your children. Let me make the factor clear, if bombs were manufactured here and they want the land as theirs because of natural gas in there. Feel death in the atmosphere while we hapless stand and stare, and a little boy begs for his brother's strand of hair. Truth is, I don't know how anyone can live after digging for their dead kids buried under bricks. Israel is a terror state, terrorists that terrorize. I testify, my television televised, I'm telling lies. This is not a war, it is systematic genocide. Or whatever they try, Palestine will never die. They're not prepared to face the pain, so they're scared to say your name. They're not prepared to face the pain, so they're scared to say your name. They're not prepared.
And I will say, absolutely 100% without reservation, I support the right of self-defense.
They're not prepared to face the pain, so they're scared to say your name.
Myself in violent resistance.
They're not prepared to face the pain, so they're scared to say your name.
And if I were a citizen of the United States,
to face the pain, so they're scared to say your
someone from
name.
halfway around the world came into my country and started stealing my land and killing my family, guess what? I would defend my country as well. So
they're not prepared to face the pain, so they're scared to say your name. They're not prepared to face the pain, so they're scared to say your name. They're not prepared to face the pain, so they're scared to say your name.
From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. From the river to the
condemn terrorism while forgetting to acknowledge that the biggest terrorist on the planet is the United States government. Who condemn terrorism while forgetting to acknowledge that the biggest terrorist on the planet is the United States government. The biggest terrorist on the planet is the United States government.
Spread in hospitals where the doctors do C-sections, no anesthetics. The pressure is manifesting, humanity stands connected. Masses seem apathetic and actually just accept it. When our grandchildren ask us, what did we do to stop it? I'm determined to say I did more than make music on it. That's why we shut down arms factories. You can try stopping us. Palestine action's the opposite of white phosphorus. We tell them on the television, but they never listen. Tell Piers Morgan that resistance isn't terrorism. They want them fled or missing, death or prison, endless killing. I seen a father hold his baby up, the head was missing. Imagine demolition of whole way your parents living. Kings won't say a thing, but at least we know that Yemen's with them. Ethnic cleansing, it ain't hard to see the stages, but Gaza as a graveyard of the invaders. Ears close to the savagery, clear knowing there's clarity. Journalists and doctors are heroes of humanity. The sordid and as gory as the story is for now. And they depopulating Gaza for Ben Gurion's canal. Israel is a terror state, terrorists that terrorize. I testify, my television televised, I'm telling lies. This is not a war, it is systematic genocide. But whatever they try, Palestine will never die.
وأشد على أياديكم وأبوس الأرض تحت معاليكم وأقول أناديكم وأشد على أياديكم وأبوس الأرض تحت معاليكم وأقول from the river to the sea Palestine
The biggest terrorist on the planet is the United States government. That sounds like the African National Congress and Nelson Mandela refusing to accept apartheid and recognize apartheid.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. When did this country turn into a nation of rats and squealers? Have you noticed this? Last 10, 15 years, rats and squealers and snitches People spying on each other, turning each other in, call them the tipster hotline. If you see a crime, call the tipster hotline. Let me tell you something, it's not the tipster hotline, it's the rats and squealers hotline. But if they called it that,
That
you know
my
how
bro,
many people use it?
live on the beats for y'all.
Lots of
Trill
them.
D.
Because people have no principles anymore. We're living in a nation of stool pigeons. How am I driving? Call 1-800 and squeal on the truck driver. Sounds like a small thing, but it's not. It's an open invitation to be a rat. And that's what people are turning into. They cooperate with prosecutors, for Christ's sakes. Prosecutors, the worst kind of dishonest swine ever to crawl out of the devil's asshole. Just the worst fucking humans. And people make deals with them. They plea bargain. They betray their friends just to stay out of jail. That's what happened to those poor guys in the mafia. They sold each other out. Shit, when I was a kid, we looked up to the mafia. We admired and respected those guys because they had a code of silence. No one talked, ever. Now they squeal on each other, make a book deal, buy a fake mustache, and move to Pocatello, Idaho. You know something? They deserve fucking Pocatello, Idaho. And speaking of places where people blow cows, let me ask you a question. I got a question. You remember those militia assholes? You remember those patriotic nitwits said they didn't recognize the authority of the federal government? They had a flag with a serpent on it said, "Don't tread on me." Well, the flag should have said, "Don't squeal on me," because first chance they got, two of them testified for the government against their friends just to stay out of jail. Never mind the serpent. You know what that flag should have had on it? A rat. A nice big brown diseased sewer rat fucking the serpent in the ass. And both of them wearing camouflage fatigues. We got no heroes anymore in this country. There's no heroes. Timothy Leary turned in people to the FBI. Elvis Presley was a snitch for the DEA. The only hero I've seen recently was Susan McDougal. She told Ken Starr to go get fucked, and she went to jail for 2 years for it. That's what I call being a hero. And by the way, Clinton must have thrown her a pretty good hump to get loyalty like that. Don't you think so? Yeah? Huh? Good for her. Good for her. And good for him. I'm glad he got away with everything he got away with. And the worst part of this snitch shit is these people who squeal on their families. You know, parents spying on their kids, searching their rooms for drugs, and the kids are no better. Did you ever read about one of these dumbass kids turns his parents in for having some drugs in the house? Shit, how stupid can you get? You don't turn in the people who are buying the food, asshole. Think it through. Squealing on your family. Fyodor Kaczynski, the Unabomber, one of my personal heroes, by the way. You bet your ass. He was turned in by his own brother. You don't do that. You don't turn in your brother or your parents or your kids, no matter what they're doing, even if they're selling drugs and killing people. Whatever happened to family values? In fact, you should never cooperate with the police ever at any time for any reason.
That my bro, live on the beats for y'all. Trill D.
Free, from the river to the sea. Palestine will be free from the river to the sea. Free from the river to the sea. Palestine will be free from the river to the sea. Free from the river
And I will say, absolutely 100%, without reservation, I support the right of self-defense. Without any doubt, I would be involved myself in violent resistance if I were a citizen of Palestine or Iraq or Afghanistan. And if I were a citizen of the United States or Britain and someone from halfway